Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about Darklords, and not some other variant or hybrid build, but pure Darklords. We're not playing Eldritch or Invoked, even though I do think that they are a little bit stronger. We're going to be playing a more pure variant. Now, there are a few things that you should know. Honestly, if you don't already know the Darklord stuff, I will try and link the Darklord combo video that I have made down below so that you can learn the combos and the ins and outs. Notably, however, some things that are different with this strategy versus some of the other strategies. Superia is in the deck. I'm not a big fan of this card in other versions of the deck. The reason being is because it doesn't do anything unless it is specifically in the grave. However, we have a lot more ways to get it into the grave with this build because we are playing a lot more just Darklord cards, as well as we're playing Reasoning, which can also get it into the grave, or just, special summon it. So both of these are added into the deck at 3s because they are much better in a pure variant of the deck. Reasoning is incredibly good because of the fact that it can basically be a free special summon. Just straight up, you activate it. Most people are going to end up calling the card wrong or the level wrong, unless they specifically call 10 and you end up milling an Ick Shell, which can be problematic, but in all honesty, it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people are calling 10 because of Eldritch, so that's why. But even then, having an Ick Shell in grave is not necessarily a bad thing. Another notable thing is we are playing Allure of Darkness, as well as a lot more hand traps and board breakers, or just like combo extenders kind of things. So all of these things basically just allow you to have higher highs. You do tend to brick a lot more and have hands that just kind of don't do it, right? You'll end up with like 2 Superbias in hand and no real way to get them into the grave. You may end up with like 2 Nastins, Morningstar, and a Tez, and you're just like, okay, well that sucks, right? It's like, I want Morningstar in hand, I want Tez in hand, all of this stuff. So there are a lot of hands that can just brick you, and it does happen quite often. But the difference is, if you get a really good hand, it's way better and can play through way more. So higher highs, kind of this high risk, high reward scenario. All right, moving on, we have a few other notable cards. Forbidden Droplets should probably be played at 3. The only reason I'm playing 1 is because I only have 1, and as you can tell, I don't have the materials to make it. Otherwise, I would 100% be playing this at 3. What would I cut? Ash Blossom, honestly. It's not great. It's okay, but it's not great. Having a board breaker is always better, especially in a meta like this where you do not get to decide whether you're going first or second. Having something like Forbidden Droplets to just drop on the opponent and end them is insanely good. We also have Called by the Grave. Again, I would be playing this at 2, and I would probably take out the enchantment because enchantment rarely comes up. It's kind of nice because it's additional disruption, but it only comes up occasionally. You could also take out something like an extra Superbia, an extra Tez, whatever it may be, an extra Indulge as well. So yeah, those are the 2 cards that I would play more of if I had more. All right, moving on. This is pretty standard list. Obviously, the triple maxi should be in every list, or almost every list. But yeah, pretty standard in terms of the other ratios. The triple Ick Shell, obviously triple banishment, triple contact, 1 of each of the traps. And so yeah, as for the extra deck, I still only have the 1 first Darklord. You should probably be playing more of this. Does it matter too much? No. Realistically, this is a game ender, and if you don't end the game with this card, you probably lose anyway. So playing more of it is not necessary, and it's almost better to be playing more extra deck options. Then we have a whole huge XZ lineup. Honestly, I could probably switch out a lot of this stuff and put in more Link monsters, but in case you do end up getting 2 Superbias onto the field, you can go into some of your XZs and then potentially into Zeus. So it's not too terribly bad, but it's also not great. Again, the extra deck doesn't matter all that much. It's kind of okay. The only real ones that matter are First Darklord, Condemned, Blackluster Soldier, Access Code, and Goddess. Sometimes Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus do come up, so that's nice. Realistically, you could take out probably all of the XZs and not play XZs at all and just play more Link summoning. You could also play more Dark Fusion type monsters, right? As long as you have the materials, you could, play something like Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This guy, all he needs is 2 dark monsters on the field, which you can still summon with something like Uprising. So, again, fill the extra deck with what you want. The big things are at least more than 1 Condemned to get multiple activations of the effect. It's really solid effect, as well as potentially more copies of First Darklord. Other than that, it's just big boss monsters that you need to like close out games. This one, I would say, is probably the one that you want the most, because if you're able to spam the board and then they make a big towers that you can't really deal with, it is really nice to just link it away. And you are able to spam the field pretty effectively with this deck. So again, having this, great option. Other than that, let's just hop into the duels and show you what this does. All right, so here we are in our first duel, and this one was actually played against a viewer, so I actually do get to see their hand. But all in all, it's pretty self-explanatory. Maxi basically just wins us this game. So let's quickly do the explanation. So they're going to grab an invocation here. They are going to go for Artemis, and then they're going to activate their invocation to go for their Mekaba. At this point, I have already drawn basically everything that I need. There's a few things that you need to note. 1, Mekaba negates the activation of a card effect. 2, Banishment is a really, really good card because it says you can only activate 1 banishment of the Darklords per turn. Meaning, if it gets negated at its activation, you can use another one. Since this card doesn't negate the effect, it negates the activation, you can use the second one. So me drawing a second one here is absolutely phenomenal. So you will see that come into play here in a second. They're actually going to go for Winda here, which is incredibly well done from them. And they're going to actually activate their Aerial to banish their own Alistair for follow-up. So they also banish our Maxi, which is kind of funny. So here I immediately slap down our banishment. It doesn't really matter what I ended up drawing off of the Maxi other than these 2 banishments. Those are the 2 most important things. Now, as you can see, they have the spell in hand, and they are going to negate it. Fantastic. That is exactly what we wanted, which is why I started out with that. Then I'm going to slap down the second one, and at this point, I basically have everything that I need, right? I have Nastin, which can deal with the Winda. I just go to the battle phase, deal with the Winda, and we're good. And then we also have Superbia and Ixchel, as well as Contact. So from there, we basically have full combo. I end up drawing 2 Superbia, because of course I do. I'm just going to immediately send one of the Superbias as well as the Uprising that we had and just walk into the window. The reason I send the Uprising here, very simple, but I need to pop the Mekaba. If it stays around, I'm in huge trouble. So we're just going to proceed to combo off. They don't really have any ways to interact with us since we've already dealt with the 1 negate. So we're going to go Superbia, and then we are going to bring back the Ixchel. Ixchel's effect is going to activate. We are going to search out the Uprising. The reason I do this is because of Condemned. Condemned can send this to the grave, and then we have a fusion summon ready and available to us. So we're going to send the Uprising there in order to search out the Morningstar, and we are then going to use the effect, in order to it is a tribute summon of the Morningstar, banishing the 2 Superbias. We're gonna mill a couple of cards. Notable cards that we did end up milling is the Sanctified, as well as no, that's it. Oh no, we did also mill a Contact here, so that's very nice. I'm actually going to use Amdusk to get Amdusk and Superbia back into the grave in order to add back one of the contacts, since we had multiple contacts in grave. I figured, hey, it's better to have some sort of follow-up. Here I'm actually going to go for Rebellion. I'm going to pop their Mekaba, and then I'm going to activate Tez in order to bring back our Amdusk. Amdusk is then going to just sit there. Sorry, I forgot I didn't activate it. We're going to gain a whole bunch of life points as well, which is really good. At this point, they kind of don't really have anything, and they're going to activate their invocation to grab their Alistair here. So, you know, maybe they can do something. I didn't know what was in their hand, so potentially they could have had like an invocation or something like that, but I decided to negate the Alistair, the Invoker. If they did happen to have that invocation, once again, I would have just, you know, that would have sucked, but even then, I don't really know what else they could do. They could go into Mekaba, but even that probably wouldn't be enough. During the end phase here, I'm going to fuse into the first Darklord. I'm not going to use Morningstar. Reason being, I don't really need to nuke the field. So instead, I'm going to use 3 of the weaker monsters in order to go into the first Darklord. At this point, I'm just assembling lethal. I actually have lethal on board, but yeah, I just didn't realize it and was like, I'll just be really sure. So yeah, well over lethal. Let's hop into the next game. Alright, and here we are going first. This time, we're playing a game in Platinum, and yeah. So, we drew Superbia and Ixchel, and then 2 Allure of Darknesses. Pretty interesting. We do draw into a Reasoning, and we are able to special summon out our Tez. Pretty nice. I'm actually going to banish the Nastin here. The reason I banish Nastin is twofold. 1, I don't want to banish the Amdusk. We only have 1 of that. And 2, we play multiple Nastin, and he's kind of a brick in the hand, so I could special summon him out from the deck with Morningstar, so there's that. We're going to then special summon out our Superbia. Superbia is then going to special summon Ixchel, and then I am going to activate Banishment in order to grab up the Indulged. We're going to activate Tez in order to search out another Tez, and then I'm going to link off into Condemned. At this point, we'll activate Condemned to pitch the Indulged in order to search for Morningstar. We will activate Ixchel in order to summon out the Indulged and give them an Ukobek. And here is where things get really interesting. I'm going to grab the Ixchel, and they are going to send Sanctified Darklord to the grave. All of a sudden, I'm in a mirror match, and this has got way more interesting. Knowing that they have the Sanctified Darklord in grave is really worrisome. That is a very problematic card in the mirror match. The reason being, whoever activates their card effect second is going to get their card effect off because of the Sanctified Darklord non-target negating. It's very scary, and it can really slow you down quite a bit. So I'm just going to get as much advantage as I can right here. So I'm going to normal summon our Morningstar. Morningstar's effect is going to bring out the Nastin from the deck, and then we are going to mill a whole bunch of cards. Nastin is then going to allow us to search a card. We're going to search for Uprising here. The reason for Uprising is, again, for that additional interruption. I'm just going to set the card and then proceed to the end phase. 10,000 life points, 6 cards in hand. Let's see how this goes. They start with the Banishment of the Darklords. Not really much that I can do about this. I do have Nibiru in hand, which is also kind of funny, but I really don't want to have to do that. I'm going to let them do all of this stuff. There's not really anything that I can actually do to interact with them. They're going to normal summon Ukobak in order to send a Contact, which is kind of interesting, but you know what? It's fine. They're going to go for the Condemned Darklord, and here I'm actually going to just immediately steal it. The reason being, I don't want them to actually get the effect of the Condemned. They're going to go for the Destroy All Spells and Traps your opponent controls, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. We're just going to tribute off the Condemned Darklord in order to go for our own first Darklord. Again, not going to be using the Morningstar because they have no cards on field. There's not really worth it. If I go into the first Darklord without using the first effect here, I'm able to basically get a free Contact. Very nice. I could also special summon from the hand if need be. I also gain a few life points from that, and then they are going to activate Monster Reborn and realize that it is over. We still had the Nibiru and all of that, but honestly, that was just a really interesting duel. It's very rare that you come across this mirror match, but yeah, I just wanted to show you how it's done. Alright, so here I actually end up going second, but my opponent has bricked. I'm just going to quickly show you what I end up doing in order to go for the OTK. So first of all, they call it wrong. We're going to summon out the Ixchel. I'm going to then special summon the Nastin. Then we are going to Superbia, and then we are going to put our Tez that we special summon off of the Superbia in attack position. Then we are going to go for Condemned here. Condemned is then going to tribute summon for the Tez, and that is lethal. Just wanted to show you the quick OTK basically through nothing. And yeah, it was kind of interesting, but yeah, quick OTK. Alright, so here we are. I believe we actually go second here. But I did happen to draw Droplets. And you will see it comes in clutch here. So, they are going to go off and do their pretty standard Thunder Dragon combo. They did draw Aloof Lupine as well as Thunder Dragon Dark, which is basically a god hand. That hand gets you so much advantage, and here comes out Thunder Dragon Colossus, as well as they are going to link into Verte Anaconda to go for their Titan. They're going to search out their Dragon Matrix again, and then they are going to shuffle back a whole bunch of cards, and Thunder Dragon Titan. So, this is actually pretty scary when you think about it, but because of Droplets and how incredibly overpowered this card is, and the fact that we ended up drawing Banishment for turn, we're fine. So immediately I'm going to send the Trap and the Monster in order to negate these guys' effects. And at this point I'm able to 1, search, and 2, not have to worry about our cards constantly being popped by this guy's effect. So we end up getting the Indulged Darklord off of one of our reasonings. We are going to give them the Ukobak and then fire the second reasoning. Here they call level 4, which actually sends our monster to the grave, which really sucks, but not a whole lot that we can do about that. We're going to grab up the contact off of the banishment in order to special summon our Indulged back once again. Here we go for Condemned, and at this point I'm just hoping and praying that they don't have things like Ash Blossom or Effect Veiler or anything like that. That is just everything that I'm hoping for, and so far they haven't had anything, so we're going to search out the Morningstar, and I am ecstatic at this point. We are going to normal summon the Morningstar, and then Morningstar for 4. As you can see, we get basically everything that we need out, and since we never special summoned the Eggshell nor activated its effects are still activatable. We're going to grab up the Uprising here, shuffle that back. We are then going to also activate the Eggshell's effect in order to search out another Eggshell. Here we are going to then activate the Eggshell effect in order to send everything to the grave, and then search out 2 more cards. Here we're going to activate Tez in order to go for the fusion, and we are just going to nuke the field. Now, I was a little hesitant to actually go into this because I didn't know if this card activated while still being negated. I didn't know if this was just like a lingering effect or if it being negated actually mattered. Turns out, I just wiped the field. You will see, boom, everything is gone, and that is well over lethal. I should not have won this game. They had 3 cards in hand, and, you know, Droplets it's kind of unfair. That's all I'm gonna say. So, that's why Droplets is so incredibly good in this deck. I would highly suggest playing more copies of it. Alright, and here we are once again going second, and this isn't the best of decks, as you could tell. It is zombies. They're playing Necro World, Banshee, and Baylor Drock, and Zombie World, and Zombie World actually is pretty bad for us. A lot of our monsters specifically require fairies and all of that stuff, and yeah, fairies are not zombies, so that is problematic. So, first things first, we end up drawing into another Indulged, which is kind of funny. So I'm going to activate Eggshell here first. The reason being that I activate that instead of Allure is because I do want the monsters into the grave, so it's fine doing that. Then we're going to activate that. We're going to banish the Indulged. We're going to grab ourselves a contact. We're going to contact back the monster, and then we are going to once again activate that contact in order to contact back our Indulged. Now, this is a big mistake from me. The reason being, it locks us into fairy-type monster effects, and none of our monsters are fairies. They're all zombies on the field. So, this is really problematic, and I end up screwing this up really, really badly. But I still end up kind of fixing it. So we're going to actually grab the Morningstar here, and the reason for this is because I'm like, oh yeah, I can just use the Nastin effect to pop the Zombie World, and then I can tribute summon the Morningstar. I haven't used my normal, we'll be fine. Turns out I can't do that. So, as my weird brain is like, oh yeah, I'm locked into fairy-type effects, I'm going to go into Nightmare Phoenix, which is also a zombie. Oh, right, it doesn't do anything. So, big misplay for me. It would have been better just to sit on the field that I already had. Even if I did go for Nastin, it's still a good play. It's not great, but it's still a good play. All in all, I didn't do that. However, we still have some reasonable plays, right? I still have the search, so I could search for something like Contact if I need to. I actually also drew into Max C, so I'm going to Max C here on their special summon, which is really crazy good for us. We just get, oh, look at that, I even drew into Contact. I didn't even need to search it. I think I actually end up negating the effect of Unizombie here, which is really nice. Unizombie is basically the big playmaker of the archetype, or the deck, so all I need to do is negate that. They do have a Gozuki, which is really, really good for them. They're going to send the Glow Up Bulb will banish in order to summon out the Baylor Drop. This is the boss monster of the deck. This is the combo maker. This is what it's trying to combo to. This card, basically, when a zombie monster activates an effect, you can either negate the effect or banish a monster from the field or graveyard. It's crazy. So, we are going to just take a whole bunch of damage. They actually used the Unizombie's second effect. They didn't actually activate or resolve it, but just activating it allows them to activate the Doom King Baylor Drock. So, there's that. They're then going to go into Red Eyes Necro Zombie. We draw another Maxi off of the Maxi, feels bad, man, but not a lot that we can do about that. They're then going to link off into Vampire Sucker, and the reason they link off into Vampire Sucker is because of the fact that Baylor Drock actually just brings himself back during during the standby phase, as long as Zombie Worlds is on the field. So at this point, we have a whole bunch of cards in hand because of Maxi, and we're going to draw an additional one. I'm going to send that Maxi to the grave. They're not going to be able to negate it, and Darklord will come back, and I will get that additional draw. Really nice for me. I'm going to draw into a second banishment. Pretty good. They do end up drawing a card, so that is problematic. We're going to go for Reasoning and special summon out the Ash Blossom. Feels bad, but not a lot that we can do. Here, I'm just trying to draw into as many cards as we can so that I can see the Forbidden Droplets. We draw into another Allure of Darkness, so I'm going to banish this Superbia, then drop the second Allure of Darkness. I still don't have Droplets, and there it is. Fantastic. I'm going to banish the Tez. I'm going to activate the Droplets. We're going to send ourselves the Ash Blossom. We're going to negate the Necro World Zombie. There's no real point in negating it, but I'm going to. It does have its attack as well, and then we're going to go for the Darklord. I'm then going to contact out this Ixchel, and at this point I don't have to worry about them negating anything or banishing anything, so I'm pretty happy here. We are then going to search out the Nastin, go for Nastin here. The reason I go for Nastin is because of the fact that it basically gets us to Tribute Summon, right? We can pop the field spell and then go into Condemned, banish 2 for Morningstar, and then Morningstar for 3. We get the Superbia, we grab the Amdusk, and we grab Indulge. All of these have not been special summoned, which is the only reason why we were able to get them. I guess we technically could have got a Tez, but both of them are in the grave, so we actually can't. Here we go for the Search of Uprising, and we had special summoned a Superbia. That was the only target we had, and we could only grab an Ixchel. Again, only target we had. So we go into Blackluster Soldier here, and again, I forget that I am locked into fairy types. So this guy doesn't get its effect, even though I did use a level 7 or higher, but he's still pretty good. And the reason that I don't go into something like Access Code is, again, I'm locked into fairies, so it wouldn't have done anything. I'm just going to set this Uprising, and for some reason I forgot to take out Darklord. Again, I was trying to banish it with this guy, so I just didn't. But it's fine. We're going to activate Uprising here. We are going to send the Ixchel, and then I'm going to contact back that Ixchel in the same excuse me, in the same chain. Since this does send for a cost, we are able to special summon it back onto the field. I'm also really low on life points, but Darklord Uprising actually does give you life points if you send a monster with its trap effect. With the cost, I gain the life points, and now I can just nuke the field. At this point, it's basically over. They do have Pot of Avarice, which is really scary, because they get to shuffle back all of their monsters, but they notably have to shuffle back their Darklord. Darklord is one of the things you never really want to get out of the graveyard. At this point, immediately as they summon their Unizombie, I just steal it, and they realize game is over. Alright, so all in all, how does this deck work? Is it good? Is it worth it? Yeah, honestly, if you want to play a pure variant of Darklords, it's definitely good. I would say it's not the strongest version, but it's definitely really fun. Maybe it's just because of the fact that I am so accustomed to a lot of the Darklord cards, and I know their combos like the back of my hand, that it was very simple for me to pilot this. It may be more difficult for you playing something like Invoked or Eldritch, may be better until you get more familiar with the actual combo pieces of Darklords, but again, as I mentioned, it is a very high highs, but also very low lows, and it's high risk, high reward, right? Sometimes a single Ash Blossom can just lose you the game. Sometimes, you know, you aren't able to even resolve a reasoning or stuff like that, you know. Sometimes you're not able to find your Forbidden Droplets before the opponent has set up a huge board for you to try and chew through, right? So all in all, it just kind of depends on you, right? Do you enjoy just straight up not being able to play the game every once in a while, or would you rather have games where it's closer, but you maybe don't have as high of highs? You can't quite beat through, you know, a full board. It's up to you. All in all, though, I did enjoy this deck. Reasoning was very, very useful. Forbidden Droplets is crazy, and, you know, an insane card. Definitely play 3 of this. Called by the Grave was also pretty useful. It's just a good card. There's a reason it's limited to 1 in the TCG and to 2 in Master Duel and in the OCG, and it's just an insane card. So there's that. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy this. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.